This video is sponsored by Bug Baffler. This is crazy. 10 packages of bees, oxalic acid vaporizer, mite strips, beetle traps, queen excluders, queen marking kits, 10 pounds of sugar, honeybee formula, all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, I'm paying so much to keep bees. Why is beekeeping so expensive? There has got to be a better way. Good afternoon, beekeepers and bee enthusiasts. How you doing? It's another great day at the farm, and we're hanging out. It's kind of cloudy and sunny at the same time. You know, we've got some stormy weather rolling through, and it's supposed to be raining throughout the week. So anyway, we got a great video planned for you today. And of course, today we'll be talking about getting the heavy expenses out of beekeeping. So if you go around and read some of the most popular books out there for beekeeping, or you look at some of the big YouTube channels out there, you're going to be told that you need 100 different items to keep beekeeping, and you need all kinds of crazy gadgets and tools and all kinds of stuff. And a lot of beekeepers will tell you that they don't do beekeeping for money because they really lose a lot from beekeeping, and it costs so much. I mean, if you think about it, if you were to buy 10 packages of bees, 10 colonies, I mean, that would be about $2,000. And a lot of those bees aren't going to make it, so you're going to lose your investment, you know, to a certain extent. But in any case, you know, a lot of people will tell you that beekeeping is super expensive, but we're here to tell you that that is not the case, okay? Beekeeping can be sustainable and it can be inexpensive. You know, you can put as much as you want into it, but you don't need to put a lot, because when it comes down to it, you just need a few essentials to be successful in beekeeping. And really, that's about it. You don't need to go and buy 1,000 different things, because your bees only need a few things for them to be okay, and it doesn't take much. So it's going to be a great topic. We're really excited to share it with you. And without further ado, let's break right into it. Okay, so let's talk about what I think is going to be your most expensive thing you're going to be doing if you're getting involved in beekeeping, or if you're beekeeping now. And that is, of course, your hive system. Now, you know, beehives can range from anywhere from $50 to $400 or $500, depending on what you're getting. Layens hives are definitely usually a couple $100, but Langstroth hives are cheaper. They're a little bit more inexpensive, but in any case, if you go out there and purchase hives, then you're going to be spending a decent amount of money on it. But of course, if you get a good hive system, it should last you for years and years and years, and it'll be a good investment. You know, you just got to make sure you're getting a high quality product. Now, if you have a shop and tools, like you got a table saw, all that good stuff, then you can go out there and you can get free plans to build hives like this. Now, if you go to Dr. Leo's website, horizontalhive.com, he has plans on his website for how to build these hives. And, you know, as of right now, they're all free. You know, you can get them no problem. And if you go to his website and you got tools and whatnot, you can make a hive for a very small amount of money. Now, we designed these hives for the most part based off of his plans. And, you know, we added the gable roof with the, you know, with the shingles and everything. You know, it's just, you know, our part of sprucing it up a little bit. But, you know, you can build a basic layens hive for little to nothing. I mean, it really won't cost you that much if you have a shop and everything. So that's something to think about. But like I said, regardless, your hive system is probably what you're going to spend the most on, but you don't need to spend a fortune. You can basically get a couple of high quality hives that'll last you for years and years and years. I mean, this hive, I think, is like 3 years old. And we didn't even like paint over it or anything like that. And it's still holding up pretty well. So it's still doing pretty good. So get you a good hive out there. And if you can, you know, if you got a shop and whatnot, build it yourself. And then that'll save you a lot of money. That's what we've done. You know, we've only purchased a few hives, but most of our hives in our apiary are built by us. And what I would like to do someday, I haven't got around to it yet, is I want to make a video showing you how to build a layens hive with a beautiful gable roof like this, so that you can see how to build it. It's just when we get around to it, we'll do it. But that is our goal sometime in the future. But in any case, go out and get you a good hive system that'll last you a long time. And if you got a shop and tools, make sure you go and build your own hives, because that'll save you a lot of money. So let's talk about the next thing when it comes to expenses in beekeeping. And that is, of course, how you as a beekeeper are going to acquire your bees. Now, if you're familiar with our channel, you know we love to catch swarms. We put up swarm hives just like this up in trees, or maybe in some cases at ground level. But in any case, we put these swarm hives up and we try to catch honeybee swarms. Now, the reason we love to catch honeybee swarms is because we know that swarms of honeybees are much healthier than bees that come from a far distance. They're used to the local area, they're used to the climate, they're used to the temperature, and local honeybees are going to do way better than a package of bees. So we know that if we can catch bees up in a tree like this, it's going to be a good colony of bees. Now, another reason why we like to catch them is, of course, it saves a bunch of money. Now, if you were to go and buy 10 packages of bees, and I keep referring to this because we've done it before, if you were to go buy 10 packages of bees, you're going to spend about $2,000. Now, packages of bees have about a 50% failure rate. So if you get them, and in some cases more than that, but if you get your bees, you lose half your bees in 1 year, and then maybe the next year you lose the rest of them, you've lost all your investment and it's gone. Now, you go and buy a $100, $150 swarm hive like this, and you catch bees up in trees, then every colony you catch is free bees, literally. And you can keep catching them over and over and over again. And we've had this swarm hive for about 5 years, I would say. And it's lasted us, it's done very well, and we didn't spend that much on it. And it's caught us multiple colonies of bees. So we keep getting a return on all the colonies we catch. And the bees are healthy, they're localized, they're used to the climate, used to the temperature, and they're just good bees. So, you know, one of the biggest things in your expenses is going to be how you acquire your bees. You shouldn't go out and buy a bunch of packages because they have a high failure rate. And if you were to go and just try to catch swarms, then I promise you're going to save a lot of money. And I know catching swarms might seem like you don't get as many bees as you would if you were to buy a bunch of packages. I promise you're going to appreciate the swarms so much better because they're going to live a lot longer. They're going to do way better. And if they do perish or they do move out, you haven't lost anything because you still have your swarm hive and you can just try again next year. You know, if we were to lose all of our bees 1 year, you know, I'd be upset, but at the same time, I'd be like, okay, we're just going to catch a bunch of swarms next year. And then that would be the end of it. So, you know, it's a lot more efficient to try to catch swarms in beekeeping. And if you can get used to catching swarms and get away from buying bunches of packages, I promise you it's going to help you in the long run and you're going to save a lot of money. Okay, so you went out, you got your good hive system, you got your bees, and you caught a bunch of swarms, so it didn't cost you too much. So now, what are the tools we're talking about when it comes to efficient beekeeping? Like, what are the absolute things we need for beekeeping in order to be successful? Well, I pretty much have all of them right here, okay? So I've got 4 things right here that I want to talk about. And, you know, extra stuff outside of this, you can get if you want to, but I really think this is all you need. You know, hive tools, these are very essential. This is good for prying frames and whatnot. So it's always good to have a hive tool. I highly recommend getting one. It's going to make your life a lot easier as a beekeeper. Bee brush is very good. You know, you got a bunch of bees somewhere and you just need to kind of sweep them off a little bit. If they're in an area they're not supposed to and you need to get them out, then bee brushes do fine. Smokers are huge. I've learned my lesson on these. You know, I had a time when I didn't use a smoker and basically I got into a hive that was really hot and I definitely regretted it. So smokers are huge. You know, and when it comes to smokers, I don't really smoke up the inside of the hive too much if I don't have to. You know, I really just kind of fume the air around me, you know, with smoke, and that will deter, you know, most bees that are giving me a hard time. So smokers are definitely essential and you want to have that. And of course, you want a good bee suit. Now, you guys have heard me talk about it before. It is the Bug Baffler suit. I love the Bug Baffler suit. It comes from bugbaffler.com. And it's a really good suit. I've had this suit right here for about 5 years and it's lasted me just fine. I didn't have to spend too much on it. It was a good suit for what I paid. And a lot of bee suits out there, you know, the full white suits and everything, those could cost you over $100 in some cases. Whereas something like this can be very inexpensive while also being very light. You barely notice you're wearing it. And of course, you know, it comes in all different colors. It comes in black like this and also comes in white. It's made right here in the United States over in New Hampshire. And if you go to bugbaffler.com and use code SecureAcres5, in the discount code section of the checkout area, you can get a 5% discount on any of their suits. So, you know, this is a really good suit to have, you know, and you want a good suit when you're keeping bees. I've seen beekeepers out there that have channels and whatnot where they're keeping bees that they're wearing absolutely nothing. And it is kind of neat that they do that, but at the same time, if you get into a hot hive, you're going to wish you were wearing a suit. And, you know, I definitely like having a good suit like this that keeps me safe. So these 4 essentials, you know, bee suit, bee brush, hive tool, smoker, these are like the key things you need. Now, all the other tools out there, and there's a bunch that you can get. It's totally up to you if you want to get that stuff. You know, I know people like to use things like queen marking kits and all that stuff. And then I've seen people, they test for mites and they put their bees in sugar water and shake them around and they check for mites and stuff like that. I don't think any of that stuff is necessary. I think stuff like your essentials are good, but you can tell the health of your honeybee colony very well by really just looking at the entrance, seeing how active they are, you know, and then when you do go in, checking for things like brood and honey. If they got that stuff, the colony is doing well. So you don't need a bunch of tools to be successful in beekeeping. And, you know, I used to buy a bunch of stuff and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on different tools and, you know, stuff like, you know, treating, of course, you know, a lot of people will spend a lot of money on treatments, but, you know, that stuff is not necessary. You know, you can keep bees just fine. Remember, bees in the wild, when they stay out in the wild, they have zero human interaction whatsoever, and they do just fine. So you can't tell me you need a shopping cart full of bee stuff in order for you to be successful in beekeeping, because your bees don't need it. You just need a few essential things to be successful, and you can get away with a lot with this stuff. So, you know, get you a few essential pieces of gear. Don't spend too much money on 100 different things because it's just not necessary. And stuff like this is what you need in order to get by. Okay, so you got your hive system, you got your honeybees, you got your essential tools, but what about all the extra stuff that we hear about people using all the time? And the things I'm referring to is, you know, oxalic acid, mite strips, beetle traps, sugar water, honeybee formulas, all kinds of stuff they give to their bees. You know, how efficient are those things when it comes to keeping bees? Well, I could tell you back in 2011, 2017, when we first started keeping bees, we basically did all those things. We gave our bees all the treatments. We gave them sugar water. We gave them honeybee formulas and all kinds of good stuff. And yet every year, all our bees would die. They would just die every year. And we were like, well, that's crazy. I mean, we did everything we were told to do. So why are we so bad at this? Like, why are our bees dying so much? And this is not something that's uncommon in beekeeping. A lot of new beekeepers will get started. They'll listen to all the experts out there, and those people will tell you that you got to do 100 different things and buy 100 different products for your bees, and that this is going to help them survive. But as I mentioned a little earlier ago, honeybees that live in the wild, they do so by themselves. They don't do it without any human interaction, and they do just fine. So what makes you think you can't keep bees in your apiary without adding all that extra stuff to your bees, okay? They can get by just fine. And really, what you have to remember is those corporations that sell all those products out there, they're not doing it because they want your honeybees to be good to go and they want them to be healthy. They're doing them because they want to make money. And that's really what it comes down to. And we have found success in our apiary by doing very little with our bees. We don't give them any formulas. We don't feed our bees whatsoever. We don't treat. We don't do any of that. And our bees do good every single year. And the bees that we do lose, we just catch more swarms and we replace those bees. So I want you just to remember, you don't need a bunch of junk in order for you to be successful, because a lot of that stuff is junk, and it really is. And I wouldn't waste a bunch of money if I was forced to. I mean, I really wouldn't, because it's a waste, and really it's... I don't think there's any evidence out there that would suggest that it does better for your bees than it would if you just didn't do anything to them. And I can tell you, in fact, in our example, we've kept bees recently over the past 5 years, and our bees have done just fine. We've done very little to them, and they do way better than how they did back in 2011 when we added a bunch of junk to them and they were dying every single year, and it was a mess. I will never go back to that style of beekeeping. It's not for us. I didn't find any success for it. And I promise you, if you look at doing very little in your apiary, you will get by and do so much better, and it'll be a lot less stressful for you, and you'll have a lot more fun as well. So that about wraps up our video. It's a big thing out there. Don't overspend on beekeeping. You don't have to. You don't need to spend a ton of money on it. You can just get the essentials, catch you some bees, get you a good hive system, and then you can save a bunch of money. You can start producing honey, and then you can do with that whatever you want. And it's a lot more efficient like that. So that's the way we like it, and that's the way we're going to stay. So we hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, we'll see you soon.